morning, good afternoon, good evening. In 1980, when Zimbabwe attained independence, the country was considered an upper middle income nation with a GDP per capita compared to that of South Africa. It was standing at about 6,000 US dollars. But over the years, the country has been facing serious economic challenges. And that status of upper middle income nation has slipped. Today, Zimbabwe GDP per capita is a third of what it was in 1980, standing about 2,000 K. Countries like Botswana that were in 1980 considered poor are now doing very well, thank you. As you can see on the map there, the GDP per capita for Botswana is about 8,000 US dollars. This is where we are. In 1980, Zimbabwe had a well-educated population. The 45 years of economic meltdown have forced many of those well-educated individuals to leave the country as economic and or political refugees. Zimbabwe today, about half of the population, 50%, are living in abject poverty. This is the reality. So when one reads such headlines as this, that the country that 50,000 Zimbabwean children are dropped out of school in 2024 alone. This is just primary and secondary school children. That's when one realizes we are in serious trouble. Yet Mnangagwa maintains that he can achieve to revive the economy for the country to become an upper middle income nation. That means increase the GDP per capita from 2,000 at the moment to about 6,000. One is tempted to dismiss it with the contempt the claim deserves. The country has been in economic meltdown the last 4 decades, having started as an upper middle income with a well-educated population. How are we going to achieve that without educated people? It's ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense at all. Right now, University of Zimbabwe, there are no lectures. because university lecturers are on strike. They're demanding better wages than the $250 per month they are getting. This is in a country where cancer rates alone can be as much as $200 a month. That's how bad things are in Zimbabwe. Is it any doubt why so many professionals have left, be it in education, health, technology, engineers, and other professionals have left the country. The last 45 years have seen the economy all but collapse. The country had many industries in 1980, and they've all closed. Household names, they've all closed because of the economic hardships of the last 45 years. And yet, somebody claims that he is going to revive the economy, increase the GDP per capita threefold in the remaining 5 years. He's been in power since 2017 following the military coup. There's nothing on the ground to suggest the economy is recovered ever since Mnangagwa got into power. Nothing. If anything at all, things are getting worse. As much as 80%, according to a documentary, Al Jazeera documentary in 2023, 80% of Zimbabwe's $2 billion gold export is being smuggled. So the country is not benefiting from it. The individuals are. So since Mnangagwa took over, corruption has increased considerably. Nothing has really improved. And yet he claims that he is going to revive the economy so that the country becomes an upper middle income nation by 2030. Zimbabwe's education services have all but collapsed. The 50,000 who dropped out of school, to be quite honest, they haven't missed much because the quality of education in Zimbabwe has reached a level where it is laughable. It is quite common to hear that somebody who has finished all levels does not know what a verb is. That means 11 years of formal education and they don't know what a verb is. That's how poor the quality of education in Zimbabwe has become. Here is a video of some of the rural schools. Like it or not, if that is your school, it really is naive to expect that those students have any chance of competing with schools in other countries. Most of them will go to school hungry, barefoot, cold, and have to walk long distances. Indeed, some of these dropouts, according to the government sources, some of these 50,000 who dropped out last year dropped out because their schools are far away. Many students are still having to walk more than 5 kilometers to school every day. And some of the 50,000, apparently the second main cause of the dropout is teenage pregnancies. And like I said, this is secondary level students. The tragedy of Zimbabwe cannot be overemphasized. We are being conned into believing that ZANU-PF is solving the problems. Mnangagwa is addressing the problem. The reality is Zimbabwe's economy and the nation's failed state status will never change as long as we maintain the present political system where those in power are not accountable to the people. This is at the heart of it. ZANU-PF has never held free, fair, and credible elections in Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF friends have stayed in power by rigging elections. And this issue of you rig elections and then you claim that you are solving the nation's problem is a serious problem and must be addressed. Because while they insist that they're solving the problems, and yet they're not accountable, the nation is caught up in this vicious cycle where they fail to deliver, and yet we can't remove them from office. Here is Mnangagwa dismissing this argument that we need free, fair, and credible elections. SADC and the AU observed Zimbabwe's 2023 elections, and they condemned the process as flawed. And instead of taking those criticisms seriously, Mnangagwa dismissed the criticism with the usual contempt and arrogance of a dictator.
Vana vakatuka ZANU-PF kana ndonyanyisa kufara kuita zvakanaka. Ukavona vavengi vako vachikurumbidza unenge uchikanganisa. Ukavona vachiti ZANU-PF yakaipa, farai. You are doing great things for your country. Hongu takaita maelections edu kuna vamwe vaitaura zvisina musoro zvikanzi maelections anafamba zvakanaka ndezvavo.
Well, until we solve that problem, Zimbabwe is not going anywhere. Like it or not, rigged elections are at the heart of our problem. We cannot start addressing the problem of the failed economy, the children whose lives are being written off without giving them a fair chance. In this day and age, what kind of citizen would they make without formal education when they can't read and write? That's for the nation itself. We have no chance of any meaningful economic recovery as long as we write off hundreds of thousands of our own people, condemn them to a life of ignorance without even giving them a chance. Zimbabwe is doomed to remain a failed state as long as we do not address the case of rigged elections and bad governance. We should all be concerned that so many children are being condemned without being given a fair chance. Zimbabwe's education system has all but collapsed. We have got hundreds of thousands of people who, even though they've remained in school for 11, 18 years of formal education, they can hardly read and write. How can that be acceptable in this day and age? Thank you very much. Have a good evening.